Okay, so I'm sure you guys saw the event a couple days ago by PlayStation, right? And I'm sure you guys have also heard other things about the PS5. You know, you've heard about all these graphics cards and whatever. And those are things that, you might not fully understand. I'm here to give you guys the simple things, the simple breakdowns, the things you actually want to know before you have to drop $800 on a console. Okay, so let's get right into it! Okay, so from the event a couple days ago, we finally, after long awaited time, we actually got to see what the PS5 is gonna look like. And it is looking like a Wi-Fi router from 2021, okay? It's got a sleek, kind of fresh, futuristic type design going on. You can see what they were going for, but you can also tell with the futuristic mark, they didn't really hit it, right? So obviously, as you guys might have saw if you watched the event, you have the PS5, regular version, but then you have the PS5 digital edition, right? And the digital edition obviously does not have a disc drive, so every game you get will have to be digitally downloaded. Something to be expected. I mean, it's not something I'm personally fond of because I'm not ready to give up, collecting. I will be digitally downloading games because I don't think I'm gonna be waiting in line, but if I find a game in the store, I would like to at least have the option to go and pick it up, but probably the digital edition is gonna be a bit cheaper. So those of you guys who may not have as much in the bank just chilling, waiting for this, might wanna get the digital edition because while, the really only thing you're losing is the disc drive, you still have the power, the speed, and the capabilities of it. Personally, I will not be giving that up though. Another thing we learned from the event was the games. A couple games that'll be dropping as PS5 exclusives, right? We got the second Spider-Man Miles Morales, which will get its entire own video and maybe its whole own thing. I gotta figure out how to get recordings from the PS5 over to my computer or from my phone so I can edit it. But that's gonna be getting its own video. We're gonna cover Spider-Man totally different. And the second game that I really want to talk about that I found really cool was Ratchet and Clank, right? Because Ratchet and Clank has been gone for a minute, but this new one really showed how they're gonna be utilizing, I guess, the PS5's power and capabilities to bring to life a game kind of old style so that those who played it before could still understand the controls and won't have to sit through a boring tutorial, but also feels new. So that's something to look out for. Now, this wasn't mentioned in the event, but I did read somewhere that all your old games from the PS4 should also be, it's backwards compatible, so you won't have to worry about, the old Spider-Man you can't play if you only get a PS5. I'm pretty sure that's gonna be good. I think Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us 2, Last of Us Remake, all the good games, and probably everything else should be able to be backwards compatible, because when you think about it, it shouldn't have been a whole thing in the first place with backwards compatibility, right? Look at Nintendo, right? They've been doing this for years. I mean, yeah, they make their games as well, but when you're given a game, I'm sure there's specific things that shouldn't be too hard to make it so that you can play it on the next generation of console. And it should have been this whole thing, especially how they did with Xbox. I don't even know if I'm gonna make a video about the Xbox Series X, because that junk, look, we ain't even gonna get into it. But unless you really want to get into tech talk, not a lot has really been said about the PS5 unless you want to get that side. Only other thing we really got to talk about right now is, price, release dates, and things like that, okay? We about to get into that right now. Okay, so from rumors, I was able to gather a wide range in which this console will cost, right? People, the upper scale of the spectrum was saying it's gonna cost around $800. I don't buy that for a second. You shouldn't either. Okay, because I'm pretty sure they lost to Xbox 360 when they tried to charge $600 for the PS3. And I think they might have learned their lesson. That for this, they might be able to charge $600 because this is next gen futuristic, right? Like they got some clean things going into this, plus the games they about to drop about to hit different. However, I don't think they're really going to be charging $800 for the console. The low end of the spectrum was $500. That's something more reasonable that I can see because that's closer to the prices of what were done last year. I think the PS4 dropped originally for $400, right? Which makes me think that this is probably going to drop for about $550, the regular PS5, right? The one with the disc drive will drop for about $550 if I had to guesstimate, because they're not going to go super high, because if they go super high, they're not going to do well. I think they said that it might be a little bit on the pricey end, but for them, the pricey end could be about $150 more, right? But I think if you want the digital edition, it's going to be $500. And that's because obviously the digital edition is going to be less because you don't have the disc drive. And I think a good $50 cutoff, having them set similar, just like crisp, clean numbers that aren't too far off, but evidently different for people to make a decision between, is a good balance. So $550 for the regular and $500 for the digital edition. Moving on to some accessories, right? We're gonna start off with the Pulse 3D, whatever you want to call them, the headphones, the headset, right? I'm putting that around $150 to $200. Okay, I think it's a nice price. But since it's an on-brand thing, they're probably going to charge a little bit more. I normally see headsets go for about $100, $125. But for them, they're probably going to put somewhere, probably about $200 for their headset, because it's probably more optimized for their system because, they made it, right? Now you got their webcam. The webcam, I can't imagine costing too much. I'm guessing $70 to $90. But if we want to break it even, we're going with $80 for the webcam, right? 70 actually, because my guess for the controller, which I'm sure is going to cost not much but a decent amount more than their webcam, is I'm putting the controller at about $85. Now that's a little on the upper end, but I think that price is probably going to go down as time goes on. But right now I have a feeling that the PS5 controller, like the wireless or the wired one, the wireless might go for about $90, but I'm guessing that the wired is going for $85. So if you want to get like an extra controller, the webcam, the headphones, and a PS5, you're looking somewhere around, let's see, that's 550 plus 200, so we're at 750 for just that, for all that. Now, if you want an extra controller, you got to bump that up to about, what is that? That is $830. You're at $830, and then you want to get yourself maybe the webcam if you're a YouTuber like me, or if you want to make videos, whatever you want to do. You're gonna get yourself an $80 webcam. Then you're gonna end up with about, I believe, $920 for $80. $910, I believe. $910. So, okay, if you're gonna get the PS5, I recommend you set aside about $950 if you want a whole setup. But a lot of you guys who are getting the PS5 either had an Xbox or a PS4 before and were already playing online. So you guys aren't going to get the new headset, and you guys might get an extra controller, but you might not. So realistically, if you have played, you've played video games in a previous generation, really, you only need to set aside maybe about just the money for the console. I'd recommend set aside $750 because you're gonna want to get some games and it's gonna be crisp, right? But that's the estimated range for all the cost. And for a release date, they said holiday 2020, and some sources are saying very early in the holidays of 2020, saying November 20th. I'm not sure about that. Maybe somewhere around there they might start pre-orders. Actually, pre-orders might start in like July, but November 20th to maybe November 20th to sometime in December. Okay, that's probably when the console's going to drop. And if you're a kid like me, you ain't gonna get that junk until Christmas. Okay, but that's all I gotta say. Okay, if you guys like the video, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell so you guys can see when I talk about Spider-Man. Okay, but I'm CJZX2. Y'all know where to find me, and I'm gonna see y'all in the next one.